Hello and welcome to Heroes of the Horn, a Wheel of Time podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Ser Ezra. Welcome back to the extended edition of The Fires of Heaven, Part 1. Here we go, guys. An exciting opening to this book. I think we're both, pumped and happy just to be kind of in book 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is wild.
Book 5, Chapter 5 is what we are talking about today and I think this was an okay one for extended edition, given kind of all the big stuff that was going on. This one, it's kind of just extended, right? And that's kind of where we'll go. It's sort of a bridge chapter. The chapter is Among the Wise Ones, right? So here we go. So Egwene is in her tent preparing hot water to wash when a Gaishain comes to her. The Wise Ones want to see her in the sweat tent. She asks the Gaishain some questions, but she doesn't seem to be very responsive. She must be one of the Aiel taken by the bleakness. When a shivering Egwene arrives at the sweat tent, she finds Moraine, Bear, Melaine, Amis, and Avienda already there. Bear thinks she took her time getting there. Moraine and the Wise Ones discuss Rand's plan to take the clans across the Dragon Wall. Moraine still thinks this will unite the lands against him rather than declare themselves for the dragon. She fears bloodshed. The Aiel see it differently and will go if Rand leads them out of the waste. The discussion goes back and forth a bit, and their positions don't change. Bear dismisses Moraine politely. When Moraine is gone, the Wise Ones tell Avienda to pour some tea. She flushes and says she hasn't made any yet. She hurries out of the tent to do so. Egwene notices she has been beaten recently. She asks Bear about it and says that Avienda asked her to because she lied twice today. Egwene thinks all Aiel must be crazy. Mies brings up the bleakness. She has heard some of the Aiel who are taken by it join the Lost Ones, the Aiel name for the Tinkers. They seem to be in the waste in greater numbers than ever before. So Avienda returns with some tea and Amis asks Egwene how Rand would take it if Avienda asks to sleep in his room. Egwene is shocked because this just isn't proper. Avienda asks the Wise Ones not to make her do it. She hates the man. The Wise Ones will have none of it, though, and in the end, Egwene has to admit he might if they give him a good enough reason. The Wise Ones say they'll think of one. They turn their attention to Egwene's training. Egwene still has trouble finding other people's dreams. Amis tells her to expect to dream of Egwene tonight. Being so close, Egwene should be able to find her. Bear breaks up the meeting. After that, Milane wants to discuss one more thing, though. She wants Bear and Amis to talk to Dorindra, the wife of clan chief Bael, about becoming sister wives. Having 2 wives is another custom Egwene can't get used to. When Egwene wants to go outside, she notices her clothes are gone. Bear says that she won't need them. She sets a punishment for Egwene for not responding promptly to a Wise One's summon, and for Avienda for neglecting her duties and failing to have the tea ready. 50 laps around the camp. While they run, Egwene tells Avienda they can't make her sleep in Rand's room. Avienda says her honor makes her obey the Wise Ones. Egwene says she doesn't understand Giotto, but Avienda says Egwene lives by it nonetheless.
Yeah, so a lot going on here, and I am they're in the sweat tents, and if you remember the scene, they're pouring the water, they're having the whole conversation with Moraine. The big deal here is Avienda going in with Rand, and how would that be taken, and then when and how and where is Moraine kept in this conversation is important too. And then the again, more of the Aiel custom stuff, which is like having 2 wives, asking about being sister wives. What does that mean? Yeah. So interesting chapter. Let me think here. So Egwene is shocked, right? The 2 Rivers folk. This is crazy, right? To have Avienda be in close there, sleeping in the same tent. Why? Right? Why do they want this? You brought this up in the main show, which is that probably because if you want to, this is the guy, right? This is right. He who comes with the dawn, the Karakan. So let's put one of our own in there with him, get him close, get him to love one of our people, which might
he's going to unite them, and he's going to be their clan chief, right?
Right.
And well, he is Aiel in the first place. So do you want him married? I mean, what does Moraine thinks that sending this army over, into the mainland, is everyone's going to see it as an act of war. They think no, almost like we're so powerful and we're so good that they will see this as we're coming along with them. So if that's your mindset of like we're the ones leading the charge on this whole thing,
Yeah.
do you want somebody that's going to be leading your army, married to, say, just say Elaine, for example, right? With Queen Morgaze, and do you want Kyrian and all of those kingdoms to be the ones that are running the show? No, you want your people.
And actually, when you think about the start of the series, you think, okay, well, it's probably going to be one of these kingdoms. It's going to be really interesting to see who the Dragon Reborn. You're thinking about Caemlyn, you're thinking about Kyrian, like you said, or even the borderland countries. And it's this wasteland, this group of people, this warrior culture that Rand is descended from and is bringing out of the waste. They rarely do this. So it's just kind of it's interesting. Something we've been hearing rumors about the whole way along in the series. This big group of people. Now he's amassing them. Yeah, and he's moving them out. It's pretty sick. Here's let me. I put up the wiki page. If it's cool for a refresher, and since it's extended edition, let me go over some of the aspects of the IEO, because I said this during the main show, and I always feel a little bit like inferior when it comes to our knowledge. By the way, if you want to, I won't make you go there. In our Gmail, we actually got an answer to the dream for spring, or cheesy cow.
Oh, okay. New spring.
I was thinking of George in his final book. Sorry. The one after Winds of Winter that's never coming out. Anyways, so let me see here. Prophecy, as you said. This is the IEO. This is their big wiki page. You can go check this out. Pretty cool stuff. But I figured Matt and I'll go over it. The Karakarn, the chief of chiefs, spoken of in prophecy. This is the guy who's going to lead them, and this is who they're behind. They've named Rand as this person. Couladin said he was this guy. He came with the dawn, like literally arrived, and all this kind of stuff. He claims he's the real Karakarn. Yeah. He led the Shido across the, he's leading the Shido right now. He's trying to, he's got the dragon markings, all that kind of stuff, that they're placed there to kind of make him seem like he's legit. He lost his brother in Rudion. He's not actually an official clan chief. So that's the Shido. That's this one group that's not really behaving like the other clans, if you will. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find all the clans. Wow, there's so much. We're going to talk about the guy Shane and Giato here in a second as well. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Culture. The IEO they're organized into several different levels. There are 12 IEO clans, each of which has a clan chief. Clans are further divided into septs, and septs subdivided into holdings. So that's a lot of divisions. And when you hear them talk fluently about these things in Avienda and where each one kind of comes from, it's a lot. IO warriors they affiliate themselves with various warrior societies, of which there are 12. And there's tons: Mountain Dancers, Thunderwalkers, Stone Dogs, Brothers of the Eagle, etc. Right? The Maidens, though, the Fardaris Mai, I can never say it. The Maidens of the Spear, their members, quote, marry their spears. They're forbidden to take men into their lives on a permanent basis without, forfeiting that membership. So there's a little bit about their culture and their set up, the clans. You can go look. There's a ton clans and septs in the 13 IO clans and their known septs. Boom, they're all right there. Warrior Society's whole list of those. Not going to go through all those. Rudion is their sacred city. We've been there. We've seen all the stuff that's going on there. The Wise Ones, IO women who can channel. They're not sent to the White Tower. They remain among the IEO and they become Wise Ones. They are pretty fluent in dream walking, right? So they get to the dream world quite a bit. They know a lot. We've seen that. Clan chiefs, IO clan chiefs, they undergo that test of traveling to the center of Rudion, which is what I said. Couladin has not done that. That's what Rand was able to say. I've been there and here's what I've learned. Couladin couldn't say that in front of all the people. It causes the bleakness, which I want to get to in a second because that's something that's referenced here. So 4 wise ones must say yes for them to do so. So you have to get 4 yeses to go there. Yeah, they come out marked with dragon tattoo around forearm. Okay, right. Okay, women receive no such marking. Here we go. There are some who go to Rudion and don't return, which is what happened again to Couladin's brother. All right, now let's go down to the bleakness. After all this stuff happened in the Shadow Rising at Alcair Dal, Rand reveals the secret, right? That's been the Rudion secret that drove the Aiel to this kind of insanity. That they once were the Shane Aiel. They served the Aes Sedai. They followed the way of the leaf. We talked about this in the main show, but these people are on the run. They're ashamed. So to a culture that lives and dies by its oaths, the news that they were all oath breakers was devastating. And many Aiel have since succumbed to the resulting, quote, bleakness. Some take on permanent Gashane white. So you'll see that in the tents and stuff, the servants running, some of them have taken to, like, normally that's like if you lose honor or something, or you're captured or something, you might be a servant in Gashane white for a year or something like that and not pick up a weapon and all that kind of thing. And it's very sacred that they do it, but these people are willingly taking this on now. And this is in hopes of paying off a debt that can never be repaid. So let's see. More forsake spear and cod and sword and attempt to live the way of the leaf, right? And so they're just rushing out, trying, they're going to different places. You have some going to the Shido. You have people kind of moving around. So it's caused a little bit of chaos in this pretty structured, group of people. So I don't know. It's kind of wanted to harp on that a little bit and talk about it because it's mentioned here in the summary and it's mentioned quite a bit in that chapter. And we're going to continue to see it throughout the Fires of Heaven. Just these people struggling with this and not knowing how to serve. We're all oath breakers? What does that mean? And then how can we restore our honor? What's it going to take? So we already know they're diehard. We already know they're extremely good warriors, and they it's important that Rand keeps them united and that he has them at his back because they're a big deal.
Well, so. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge enemy force that they at some point they led an entire war on, right? The Aiel Wars.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So anyway, well, yeah. So just another brief kind of little discussion here. I mean, I'm rooting for Avienda to go into Rand's tent. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
well, yeah. I mean, are you? I mean, what do you think? Okay, hold on. What do you actually feel like? I mean, do you think? What do you think? You have not read past this point, have you? I don't think you've read.
So I haven't read past this point, but I will say this is one of the things that we've shared this as well, that I do know what happens.
Okay, so don't say yet. Then if you do kind of know that, yeah.
I won't say it to spoil it, but
you don't know how you don't know how it happens though, or anything. You just kind of
I have no idea. So this is all
right.
This is all. Yeah. Okay. I have no idea how it happens, but yeah, I mean, Avienda was a character who I kind of knew a little bit about going into, just didn't really know anything. But I'll just say this: she is very quickly becoming. I was not expecting her to be my favorite.
Really? Yeah.
I was expecting her to be like, that's the one I'm like the least interested in.
Yeah.
And it's totally the other way around.
That is wild. I love that. I
think it's because while I still find, let's say, men,
yes.
While I still find men the most intriguing, we don't see enough of her, and there's really only been like one interaction. There hasn't, so it's like I really thought like we'd get more men up to where we're at right now. And so I feel like I know the least about her, at least Elaine. I'm like, okay, well, we've seen some of that, but so Avienda is the one where it's like, okay, this is the one I'm.
Yeah.
I want to see her fight.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like she's a badass. It's the easiest way to put it.
Yes. Yes, yes. They've. I love how they kind of do these things where the women can kind of feel each other out in terms of their power and what they can and can't do. And then she was a maiden, right? And she gave that up now to train with the wise ones, go to Rudy on the whole thing. So she's definitely powerful. But I, like you, also was very interested in men and really like men a lot. Avienda, I'll say this, there are people have told me this, like they don't, some people don't like the audiobooks and they don't like it for this reason, because when you listen to the way Avienda is read or interpreted, some people, if you just were to read it on your own, you might like, it's the one time where I can kind of see people's point and the narrator or whoever, right, doing something with their voice that makes me think of Avienda a certain way, like maybe more annoying or more whatever than she actually is. So, because I've gone back now since we've been doing this, and I've sometimes actually just read stuff, and I'm thinking I'm getting a different vibe as I read through her, because she's pretty passionate and really like emotional and energetic. And I think, like, I don't know, it's just so much more cooler to like our imagine it. The way you envision her, the way I envision her, kind of sitting behind Rand, what she's thinking, her facial expressions while he's talking. All of that is going to be something that when you watch in the show, I think that actress will be able to do a lot with that character and communicate some of the being torn between various roles. You know, the wise ones are wanting her to do this. She has her own wants and needs and things that she's interested in. And then she also has made sort of a pact to watch over Rand for Elaine and so on. So she's kind of got a lot going on here. And she is also like supposed to be teaching Rand and us about Aiel customs. So it's just, it's some of it comes out kind of rushed and kind of, with this undertone of scolding Rand. So that's why I've always kind of like, sometimes I miss like, what sept is that person in, or what society are we talking about now? Or what are the customs when it comes to clan chiefs or entering a certain area and, you know, water oaths, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot. And I need to really do some more. I need to bone up my knowledge on the Aiel big time, because it's just not something, it's one of my strengths, or, you know, it's not something I was.
Yeah. Well, really we will as we continue forward.
We will. I yeah, great character. Looking forward to more on this, and I can't wait for you to see how it happens, how what happens, because the way it's done and the way their kind of interactions take place in the next batch of chapters that we're going to do is really significant, not just for them, but the story, like across, like the entire story, the entire world. Like it's not just one of those things like, oh, there's some cool connection between those two characters. No, the connection between those two characters like matters for the whole series. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us here in extended edition. We'll be back with our next 6 through 16, I think is going to be our full thing. We might have some other little Patreon content coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But as always, guys, remember that the grave is no bar to our call.